Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving straight in to settle a massive debate in the solar world. It's a question literally everyone asks when they get into this stuff. Does a bigger solar panel actually charge your battery perfectly and proportionally faster? Like, if you upgrade from a 100-watt panel to a 500-watt array, do you automatically get 5 times the charging speed? Well, today we're putting 3 different solar arrays to the test against the exact same battery bank to find out the real truth. Here's our game plan. We'll look at the 200 amp-hour battery baseline, weigh our 3 contenders, 100, 300, and 500 watts, uncover a major charging plot twist, and wrap up with safety and system balance. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the 200 amp-hour battery baseline. Picture a standard 12-volt, 200 amp-hour battery. It's an incredibly common size for off-grid setups. To understand exactly how much energy it takes to fill it, we just multiply 12 volts by 200 amp hours. That gives us 2,400 watt hours. Think of this 2,400 as a massive, empty bucket of energy. Keeping this specific bucket size in mind is absolutely crucial for figuring out how much solar power we actually need to bring a flat battery back to life. To test our solar arrays mathematically, we're going to follow 3 simple steps. Step 1, calculate the battery energy, which we literally just did. Step 2, figure out the solar output based on our local sun hours. And step 3, estimate the actual charge time by looking at the current. Easy, right? Let's crunch some numbers. Moving right along to Section 2, Contender 1, the 100-watt panel. So under perfect sunlight, this affordable gateway panel pumps out exactly what you'd expect, about 100 watts of power. If you route that through an MPPT charge controller at around 14 volts, you're getting roughly 7 amps of charging current. Now, 7 amps, that's actually highly useful for running some LED lights or keeping a weekend cabin topped up. But if you're trying to fill that giant 2,400 watt-hour bucket we just established, well, it works, but you're going to need a whole lot of patience. Stepping into the ring next for Section 3, Contender 2, the 300-watt array. Here, we're literally tripling our theoretical power. That means we effectively triple our current, pushing a solid 21 amps on a bright sunny day. And honestly, this turns out to be a massive sweet spot for off-grid users. If you drain your battery overnight running a fridge and a couple of laptops, those 21 amps are going to replenish that energy beautifully the very next morning. Plus, those annoying cloudy patches won't have nearly as devastating an impact on your day. And now for our heavyweight, Section 4, Contender 3, the 500-watt system. If you're in the more is always better camp, this setup sounds like an absolute dream. We're talking a whopping 36 amps of charging current blasting into a 12-volt system. It's a total powerhouse. Because you start with so much raw power right out of the gate, it just dumps massive amounts of energy into the battery during that initial bulk charging phase. This makes it excel, especially during those short, gloomy winter days when the sun barely peeks out. Let's put these raw numbers head to head. If we assume about 5 peak sun hours a day, the 100-watt panel nets you 500 watt hours. The 300-watt setup triples that to 1,500, and that 500-watt monster delivers a theoretical 2,500 watt hours. Notice anything wild there? The 500-watt array perfectly matches and actually slightly exceeds our entire 2,400 watt-hour battery capacity in just a single day. Looking at this huge spike in daily watt hours, you'd probably think the 500-watt panel is the absolute undisputed champion, right? Like, why not just slap a 500-watt array on the roof and guarantee your battery is always full in a fraction of the time? Well, hold that thought. Because here comes Section 5, the charging plot twist. This is exactly where so many solar beginners get completely tripped up. See, a battery is not actually an empty bucket that just takes water at maximum pressure until the exact millisecond it overflows. As your battery gets close to being fully charged, your smart controller hits the brakes and enters absorption mode. It holds the voltage steady, and the current naturally throttles down. And here's the crazy part. During this final stretch, it literally doesn't matter if you have 100 watts or a 5,000-watt array up on your roof. The battery simply refuses to take energy any faster. That giant 500-watt array gives you a massive head start during bulk charging, for sure, but that speed advantage completely drops off a cliff right near the finish line. Oh, and on top of that absorption bottleneck, we haven't even talked about real-world physics yet. Those perfect 36 amps we calculated earlier, yeah, those are lab conditions. Out in the real world, you've got shading, a little dirt on the glass, hot summer temperatures baking the panels, and voltage drops in your cables. All of this basically guarantees that your actual, real-world charging performance is always going to be lower than those shiny numbers printed on the box. Which brings us to a really crucial point. Section 6, Safety and System Balance. Because our 500-watt contender pumps out so much raw current, we really need to pivot from talking about performance to the serious risks of sizing up. 36 amps is a ton of electricity. If you try to force that much juice through the same skinny wires you'd use for a 100-watt panel, those wires are going to heat up fast. Undersized cables or mismatched controllers will lead to wasted energy at best and a literal fire hazard at worst. Plus, you absolutely have to verify that your specific battery can actually accept that massive wave of current safely without damaging itself internally. So, bigger isn't universally better. True, smart solar engineering is all about looking at the big picture. You have to ensure your specific battery chemistry, your fuses, your charge controller, and your wiring all play nicely together to handle the power you generate. Honestly, a perfectly balanced 300-watt system with properly sized wires will almost always serve you way better than a bottlenecked, highly dangerous 500-watt setup. So when you factor in your battery capacity, your daily power habits, and your local sun hours, which of these contenders is the actual champion for your specific off-grid setup? Are you looking for a simple weekend trickle charge? A solid, reliable middle ground? Or do you really need that massive bulk charging power to fight off the winter gloom? Let that question guide your next solar project. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep learning.